Imagine this. You set a goal to wake up early, exercise, and tackle your to-do list with focus and determination. But as the alarm rings, you hit snooze. Again and again. By the time you finally get up, the day feels like it's already slipping away. Sound familiar? We've all been there, struggling to stay disciplined, to stick to our plans, to resist the pull of distractions. But what if I told you there's a philosophy over 2,000 years old that holds the key to mastering self-discipline? A philosophy that has guided emperors, thinkers, and everyday people to live with purpose, focus, and resilience. That philosophy is Stoicism. In this video, we're diving into 25 powerful Stoic quotes that will transform how you approach self-discipline. These timeless words from thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus aren't just inspiring, they're practical. They offer a roadmap to taking control of your mind, your actions, and ultimately your life. Whether you're battling procrastination, struggling to stay consistent, or simply looking to build stronger habits, these quotes will give you the tools to rise above challenges and stay focused on what truly matters. So, if you're ready to stop making excuses and start taking charge, keep watching. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of Stoic wisdom to help you master self-discipline one step at a time. Let's begin. Now, let's dive into our first Stoic quote, one that sets the foundation for mastering self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. At its core, this quote reminds us that while we can't control what happens around us, we always have control over how we respond. It's a powerful shift in perspective, one that places the responsibility for our actions and emotions squarely in our hands. Think about it. How often do we blame external circumstances for our lack of discipline? We say, "I couldn't focus because my day was too busy," or "I didn't exercise because the weather was bad." But Stoicism teaches us that these are just excuses. The truth is, no matter what's happening outside, we have the ability to choose our mindset and actions. For example, imagine you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You could let frustration take over, wasting energy on anger and stress. Or you could use that time to practice patience, maybe even listen to an audiobook or reflect on your goals. The situation hasn't changed, but your response has. That's the essence of Stoic self-discipline, focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. This mindset is especially powerful when it comes to building habits. Let's say you're trying to establish a daily meditation practice. Some days, your schedule might feel overwhelming or your environment might be noisy. Instead of giving up, you can adapt. Maybe you meditate for just 5 minutes instead of 20, or you find a quiet corner to sit in. By focusing on what's within your control, you stay consistent even when life gets chaotic. Marcus Aurelius's words remind us that self-discipline isn't about perfect conditions, it's about mastering your mind. When you realize that your thoughts and choices are your greatest tools, you unlock a strength that no external event can take away. And that's where true discipline begins. Next, let's explore how to put this wisdom into action with practical steps you can start using today. Now that we've unpacked the wisdom behind Marcus Aurelius's quote, let's turn this philosophy into action. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its practicality. It's not just about thinking differently, but living differently. So how can you start applying this idea of focusing on what you can control in your daily life? One powerful tool is journaling. Take a few minutes each day to reflect on your thoughts and reactions. Ask yourself, what situations today felt out of my control? How did I respond? Could I have handled it differently? By writing these down, you create a space to observe your patterns and identify areas where you can exercise more discipline. Over time, this practice helps you become more aware of your mental habits and strengthens your ability to choose your responses wisely. another practical step is mindfulness. This doesn't have to mean sitting in silence for hours. It can be as simple as pausing for a few deep breaths when you feel overwhelmed. Mindfulness helps you stay present, so you're less likely to get swept up by external chaos. For instance, if you're in a heated conversation, taking a moment to breathe can help you respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively. It's a small but powerful way to reclaim control over your mind. Finally, reframe challenges as opportunities. When something doesn't go as planned, instead of seeing it as a setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this situation help me grow? For example, if you miss a deadline, rather than spiraling into self-criticism, use it as a chance to improve your time management skills. This shift in perspective turns obstacles into stepping stones, helping you build resilience and discipline over time. These practices, journaling, mindfulness, and reframing, are simple yet transformative. They don't require perfect conditions or special tools. They just require you to show up and commit to the process. And that's the essence of Stoic self-discipline, taking small, consistent steps to master your mind, no matter what life throws your way. With these tools in hand, let's move forward and explore another Stoic quote that builds on this foundation of self-mastery. Now, let's dive into the profound words of Epictetus. No man is free who is not master of himself. This quote cuts straight to the heart of Stoic philosophy, emphasizing that true freedom isn't about external circumstances, it's about mastering your own mind and actions. Epictetus, a former slave-turned-philosopher, knew firsthand what it meant to lack external freedom. Yet he taught that even in the most constrained conditions, inner freedom is always within reach. His life and teachings remind us that self-mastery is the ultimate form of liberation. Epictetus believed that freedom comes from aligning your desires with what you can control. When you're ruled by impulses, distractions, or external pressures, you're not truly free. You're a slave to your own lack of discipline. But when you take charge of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you break those chains. This is the essence of self-mastery, the ability to choose how you respond to life, no matter what happens around you. Historically, Epictetus's teachings were rooted in the idea that philosophy isn't just an intellectual exercise, it's a way of life. He taught his students to focus on what they could control and let go of what they couldn't. For example, he often used the metaphor of a ship's rudder. Just as a sailor can't control the wind, they can control the direction of the ship. Similarly, we can't control external events, but we can control how we navigate them. This idea of self-mastery as the foundation of freedom is as relevant today as it was in ancient times. Think about it. How often do we feel trapped by our own habits, fears, or distractions? Whether it's procrastination, overindulgence, or emotional reactivity, these are all signs of a lack of self-mastery. But when we cultivate discipline, when we learn to say no to impulses and yes to our long-term goals, we reclaim our freedom. Epictetus's wisdom challenges us to ask, are we truly free, or are we letting our desires and fears dictate our lives? By striving for self-mastery, we not only build self-discipline, but also unlock the kind of freedom that no external force can take away. And with that in mind, let's explore how this timeless principle applies to the challenges of modern life. Now, let's bring Epictetus's wisdom into the modern world. His words, "No man is free who is not master of himself," ring especially true in an age filled with endless distractions and constant demands on our attention. Think about how often we find ourselves scrolling through social media, putting off important tasks, or giving into impulses that don't serve our long-term goals. These are all signs of a lack of self-mastery, and they can leave us feeling trapped in a cycle of unproductivity and frustration. Procrastination, for example, is a common struggle that many of us face. It's easy to delay tasks when we're overwhelmed or unsure where to start. But Epictetus would remind us that the power to act lies within us. By taking control of our thoughts and breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps, we can overcome the inertia of procrastination. It's not about waiting for motivation to strike. It's about choosing to act even when it's uncomfortable. Distractions are another modern challenge. Whether it's the ping of a notification or the lure of entertainment, these interruptions can pull us away from what truly matters. Here, self-mastery means setting boundaries, turning off unnecessary alerts, creating focused work environments, and prioritizing tasks that align with our goals. It's about recognizing that every moment we spend distracted is a moment we're not moving closer to the life we want to build. Staying focused on long-term goals is perhaps the ultimate test of self-discipline. In a world that often rewards instant gratification, it's tempting to chase quick wins or abandon our plans when progress feels slow. But Epictetus teaches us that true freedom comes from aligning our actions with our deeper values. When we commit to our long-term goals, whether it's building a career, improving our health, or nurturing relationships, we're exercising the kind of self-mastery that leads to lasting fulfillment. So, how can we apply this in practical terms? Start by identifying one area where you feel a lack of control, whether it's procrastination, distractions, or wavering focus. Then take small, deliberate steps to reclaim that control. Maybe it's setting a timer for focused work, creating a daily to-do list, or reflecting on your priorities each morning. The key is to act with intention, reminding yourself that every choice you make is a step toward greater freedom. Epictetus's message is clear. Self-mastery isn't just an ancient ideal, it's a modern necessity. By taking charge of our thoughts, actions, and habits, we can navigate the challenges of today's world with clarity and purpose. And as we do, we'll find that the freedom we seek has been within us all along. Moving forward, let's explore another profound insight that aligns with Stoic philosophy. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Though these words are attributed to Plato, they resonate deeply with Stoic teachings. At its core, this quote emphasizes that the most significant battle we face is not against external forces, but within ourselves. True victory lies in mastering our desires, impulses, and fears, a concept that Stoics believed was the foundation of a disciplined and fulfilling life. Think about the times when you've struggled with self-control. Maybe it was resisting the temptation to indulge in unhealthy habits, pushing through a difficult workout when you felt like quitting, or staying calm in the face of frustration. These moments, though challenging, are opportunities for self-conquest. Each time you choose discipline over indulgence, focus over distraction, or patience over anger, you're winning a small but meaningful victory over yourself. Consider the story of someone overcoming a personal struggle, like breaking free from a cycle of procrastination. At first, the habit feels overwhelming, almost impossible to change. But by taking small, consistent steps like setting a timer for focused work or eliminating distractions, they gradually build the discipline needed to stay on track. Over time, these small victories accumulate, transforming their ability to take control of their actions and ultimately their life. This idea of self-conquest isn't just about overcoming bad habits. It's also about cultivating virtues like resilience, focus, and perseverance. For instance, imagine someone working toward a long-term goal like writing a book or running a marathon. The journey is filled with obstacles, self-doubt, fatigue, and setbacks. But by conquering their inner resistance, they develop the mental toughness needed to keep going, even when the path gets tough. Stoics believe that self-conquest is the ultimate achievement because it's the foundation of all other successes. When you master yourself, you gain the clarity and strength to navigate life's challenges with purpose and integrity. It's not about perfection but progress, about striving each day to align your actions with your values and goals. So, how can you start conquering yourself? Begin by identifying one area where you feel a lack of control. Maybe it's managing your time better, staying calm under pressure, or resisting unhealthy temptations. Then commit to small, consistent actions that build discipline. Celebrate each victory, no matter how small, and use it as motivation to keep moving forward. Plato's words remind us that the greatest battles are fought within. By conquering ourselves, we unlock the potential to live with greater freedom, purpose, and fulfillment. And as we continue this journey, we'll discover that the strength to overcome any challenge has always been within us. Now, let's take a closer look at how conquering yourself builds resilience, a key trait for navigating life's challenges. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back from setbacks. It's about developing the mental toughness to face difficulties head-on and keep moving forward. When you conquer your inner struggles, you're not just building discipline, you're also strengthening your ability to endure and thrive in the face of adversity. Think of resilience as a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Every time you push through a tough moment, whether it's resisting the urge to give up on a goal or staying calm during a stressful situation, you're training your mind to handle future challenges with greater ease. This is why Stoics placed such a high value on self-conquest. By mastering your impulses and emotions, you're equipping yourself with the tools to persevere, no matter what life throws your way. One practical way to build resilience is through consistent practice. Start by setting small, manageable challenges for yourself. For example, if you struggle with procrastination, commit to working on a task for just 10 minutes without distractions. Over time, these small acts of discipline will add up, helping you develop the mental toughness needed to tackle bigger challenges. Another powerful strategy is to reframe setbacks as opportunities for growth. Instead of viewing failure as a defeat, see it as a chance to learn and improve. When you encounter an obstacle, ask yourself, what can this teach me? How can I use this experience to become stronger? This mindset shift not only builds resilience but also helps you stay focused on your long-term goals, even when the path gets tough. Stoics also emphasize the importance of perspective in building resilience. By focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and reactions, you reduce the power of external circumstances to derail you. For instance, if you're facing a difficult situation at work, instead of dwelling on what's out of your hands, focus on how you can respond with integrity and determination. This shift in focus empowers you to stay resilient, even in the face of uncertainty. Finally, remember that resilience is a journey, not a destination. It's about making progress, not achieving perfection. Celebrate your small victories along the way, and don't be discouraged by setbacks. Each step you take toward conquering yourself and building resilience brings you closer to living a life of purpose, strength, and fulfillment. As we continue, we'll explore how embracing discomfort can further strengthen your self-discipline and resilience, helping you unlock even greater potential. Now, let's turn our attention to a quote that challenges us to embrace humility and discomfort in our journey toward self-discipline. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." At first glance, this might seem counterintuitive. After all, who wants to be seen as foolish or stupid? But when we dig deeper, we find a profound truth hidden in these words. This quote reminds us that growth often requires stepping outside our comfort zones and being willing to look imperfect in the eyes of others. It's about prioritizing progress over pride. When we let go of the need to appear flawless, we open ourselves up to learning, experimentation, and ultimately, transformation. Humility, in this sense, becomes a powerful tool for self-discipline. It allows us to acknowledge our weaknesses, seek feedback, and take risks without fear of judgment. History is filled with examples of individuals who embraced this mindset and achieved greatness. Take Thomas Edison, for instance. He famously failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. Many people doubted him and even mocked his efforts, but Edison remained undeterred. He was willing to be seen as foolish in the pursuit of something greater. His humility and resilience not only led to a groundbreaking invention, but also demonstrated the power of embracing discomfort for long-term success. Another example is J.K. Rowling, who faced numerous rejections before her Harry Potter series became a global phenomenon. At one point, she was a single mother living on welfare, and many dismissed her dreams as unrealistic. Yet she persisted, unafraid of being judged or misunderstood. Her willingness to endure discomfort and criticism ultimately paved the way for her extraordinary success. These stories highlight a key Stoic principle. True improvement often comes at the cost of temporary discomfort or embarrassment. When we stop worrying about how others perceive us, we free ourselves to focus on what truly matters: our growth and development. This mindset shift is essential for building self-discipline because it encourages us to prioritize long-term gains over short-term validation. So, how can we apply this wisdom in our own lives? Start by identifying areas where fear of judgment might be holding you back. Are you avoiding a new skill because you're afraid of looking inexperienced? Are you hesitating to share your ideas because you fear criticism? Recognize that these fears are natural but not insurmountable. By embracing the possibility of being seen as foolish, you open the door to meaningful progress. As we move forward, we'll explore practical ways to step out of your comfort zone and use discomfort as a catalyst for growth, further strengthening your self-discipline and resilience. Now that we've explored the importance of embracing discomfort, let's dive into some practical steps you can take to step out of your comfort zone and strengthen your self-discipline. One of the most effective ways to do this is by intentionally taking on challenging tasks. Start small, choose something that feels slightly outside your current abilities but is still achievable. For example, if public speaking makes you nervous, volunteer to give a short presentation at work or in a social setting. The key is to push yourself just enough to feel a little uncomfortable without overwhelming yourself. Over time, these small steps will build your confidence and resilience. Another powerful strategy is to actively seek constructive criticism. It's natural to want to avoid feedback, especially when it points out areas for improvement. However, constructive criticism is a valuable tool for growth. Reach out to a mentor, colleague, or friend and ask for their honest input on a project or skill you're working on. Approach their feedback with an open mind, focusing on how it can help you improve rather than taking it personally. This practice not only helps you grow, but also reinforces the Stoic principle of valuing progress over pride. Additionally, consider setting incremental challenges for yourself. For instance, if you're trying to build a new habit, start with a manageable goal and gradually increase the difficulty. If you want to exercise more, begin with 10 minutes a day and slowly work your way up to 30. This approach allows you to build momentum while staying within a range that feels challenging but not impossible. Finally, reflect on your experiences regularly. Keep a journal where you document your efforts to step out of your comfort zone, noting what worked, what didn't, and how you felt afterward. This reflection not only helps you track your progress, but also reinforces the lessons you've learned along the way. By embracing discomfort and taking these practical steps, you'll not only strengthen your self-discipline, but also unlock new levels of personal growth. As we move forward, we'll explore how the Stoic philosophy of minimalism can further enhance your focus and self-control, helping you live a more intentional and disciplined life. Now, let's shift our focus to a Stoic principle that can transform the way we think about wealth and self-discipline. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This quote captures the essence of Stoic minimalism, a philosophy that teaches us to find freedom and fulfillment not in accumulating more, but in desiring less. At its core, this idea is deeply tied to self-discipline. It's about mastering our desires rather than being controlled by them. Materialism, or the constant pursuit of more, can be a major obstacle to self-discipline. When we're always chasing the next purchase, promotion, or possession, we scatter our energy and lose sight of what truly matters. The Stoics believed that this endless cycle of wanting creates unnecessary stress and distracts us from living a meaningful life. By contrast, simplifying our lives and focusing on what we truly need allows us to direct our energy toward what's important, our goals, relationships, and personal growth. Think about it, when you declutter your physical space, you also declutter your mind. A minimalist approach helps you prioritize what's essential, reducing distractions and creating room for focus. For example, instead of spending hours scrolling through online stores or accumulating items you rarely use, you could invest that time in learning a new skill, deepening a relationship, or working toward a long-term goal. This shift in mindset not only strengthens your self-discipline, but also brings a sense of clarity and purpose to your life. The Stoics also warned against the illusion that material possessions bring lasting happiness. They understood that true wealth comes from inner contentment, the ability to be satisfied with what you have rather than constantly yearning for more. This doesn't mean you should live in deprivation, but rather that you should cultivate gratitude for what you already possess. By doing so, you free yourself from the endless cycle of desire and create space for genuine fulfillment. In a world that often equates success with accumulation, Stoic minimalism offers a refreshing perspective. It reminds us that self-discipline isn't just about resisting temptation, it's about aligning our desires with our values and focusing on what truly enriches our lives. As we continue, we'll explore practical ways to embrace minimalism and use it as a tool to enhance your focus and self-control, helping you live with greater intention and purpose. Now, let's take a closer look at how we can put Stoic minimalism into practice. One of the most effective ways to start is by decluttering both physically and mentally. Begin with your physical space. Take a moment to assess your surroundings. Are there items you no longer use or need? Letting go of excess possessions can be incredibly liberating. It's not just about creating a cleaner environment, it's about removing distractions that pull your attention away from what truly matters. A clutter-free space helps you focus on your priorities, whether that's pursuing a goal, building a habit, or simply finding peace of mind. Next, consider your finances. Budgeting is a powerful tool for practicing minimalism and strengthening self-discipline. Start by tracking your spending habits. Are there areas where you're spending money on things you don't truly value? By identifying these patterns, you can redirect your resources toward what aligns with your goals and values. For example, instead of buying another gadget you'll rarely use, you could invest in a course that helps you grow professionally or personally. The key is to spend intentionally, ensuring that every dollar you allocate serves a purpose. Another practical step is to prioritize needs over wants. This doesn't mean depriving yourself of enjoyment, but rather being mindful of what truly adds value to your life. Before making a purchase, ask yourself, do I need this or do I simply want it? Will this contribute to my long-term goals or is it a fleeting desire? By pausing to reflect, you train yourself to make decisions that align with your values rather than impulsive cravings. Over time, this practice builds self-discipline and helps you live with greater intention. Finally, embrace the habit of gratitude. Take a moment each day to appreciate what you already have. This simple practice shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. Gratitude not only fosters contentment but also reduces the urge to accumulate more. When you're satisfied with what you have, you're less likely to be swayed by external pressures or fleeting desires. By incorporating these practices, decluttering, budgeting, prioritizing, and cultivating gratitude, you'll find that minimalism becomes more than just a philosophy. It becomes a way of life. It's a tool that helps you focus your energy, strengthen your self-discipline, and live with greater clarity and purpose. As we move forward, we'll explore how these principles connect to the next Stoic quote, which delves even deeper into the relationship between desire and self-control. Now let's turn our attention to Seneca's powerful insight. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. This quote cuts to the heart of how desire and greed can erode self-discipline. At its core, it's not about how much we have, but about how much we want. When we're constantly chasing more possessions, more status, more validation, we're never truly satisfied. This endless craving creates a cycle of dissatisfaction that makes it harder to stay disciplined. Why? Because discipline requires focus, and focus is impossible when our minds are scattered by the pursuit of things we don't truly need. Seneca's words remind us that poverty isn't just a lack of material wealth. It's a mindset of insatiable desire. Think about it. Someone with modest means but a contented heart is far richer than a person surrounded by luxury but consumed by greed. The latter is always chasing the next thing, never pausing to appreciate what they already have. This constant striving not only drains their energy but also weakens their ability to exercise self-control. After all, how can you resist temptation when you're always looking for the next thing to fulfill you? Contentment, on the other hand, is the antidote to this cycle. When we learn to be satisfied with what we have, we free ourselves from the grip of endless desire. This doesn't mean settling for less or giving up on growth. It means recognizing that true wealth lies in appreciating the present moment and the resources we already possess. Contentment allows us to focus on what truly matters, whether that's building meaningful relationships, pursuing personal growth, or contributing to something larger than ourselves. So, how can we cultivate this sense of contentment in our own lives? One practical step is to practice gratitude regularly. Take a few moments each day to reflect on what you're thankful for. It could be something as simple as a warm meal, a supportive friend, or the opportunity to learn something new. By shifting your focus to what you already have, you train your mind to see abundance rather than lack. Another approach is to set clear priorities. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What aligns with my values and long-term goals? When you have a clear sense of purpose, it becomes easier to resist distractions and stay disciplined. Ultimately, Seneca's wisdom teaches us that self-discipline isn't just about resisting temptation. It's about cultivating a mindset of contentment. When we stop chasing more and start appreciating what we have, we find the inner peace and focus needed to live with intention. As we move forward, we'll explore how this idea connects to the next Stoic quote, which highlights the courage it takes to live a disciplined life. Now, let's take a closer look at how we can actively cultivate contentment in our daily lives. One of the most effective ways to foster this mindset is through gratitude journaling. This simple yet powerful practice involves writing down a few things you're grateful for each day. It could be as small as a kind word from a colleague or as significant as achieving a personal milestone. By consistently focusing on the positives, you train your mind to recognize and appreciate the abundance already present in your life. Over time, this shifts your perspective from what you lack to what you have, reducing the urge to chase after unnecessary desires. Another practical approach is mindful consumption. In a world filled with endless advertisements and constant pressure to acquire more, it's easy to fall into the trap of mindless buying. Mindful consumption encourages you to pause and ask yourself whether a purchase aligns with your values and needs. Before buying something, take a moment to reflect. Do I truly need this, or am I just seeking temporary satisfaction? This practice not only helps you make more intentional choices, but also strengthens your ability to resist impulsive cravings. Additionally, consider setting boundaries around your consumption of media and social platforms. These spaces often amplify feelings of inadequacy by showcasing curated versions of others' lives. Limiting your exposure can help you focus on your own journey rather than comparing it to others. Instead, invest your time in activities that bring genuine fulfillment, such as spending quality time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or contributing to your community. Finally, embrace the practice of simplicity. Declutter your physical and mental spaces by letting go of things that no longer serve you. This could mean donating unused items, organizing your workspace, or even simplifying your daily routines. A clutter-free environment fosters clarity and helps you focus on what truly matters, making it easier to maintain contentment and self-discipline. By integrating these practices into your life, you'll find that contentment becomes a natural state of being. It's not about denying yourself growth or ambition, but about finding joy and fulfillment in the present moment. As we move forward, we'll explore how this sense of inner peace connects to the next Stoic principle, which emphasizes the courage needed to live a disciplined and purposeful life. Now, let's turn our attention to the profound connection between courage and self-discipline, as captured in Seneca's timeless words, "He who is brave is free." At first glance, bravery might seem like a trait reserved for extraordinary moments facing danger or standing up against adversity. But in Stoic philosophy, courage is deeply tied to the everyday choices we make, especially when it comes to mastering ourselves. Courage in this context isn't just about bold actions, it's about the willingness to confront discomfort, uncertainty, and fear. Think about it. Every time you resist the temptation to procrastinate, every time you push through a challenging task, or every time you say no to distractions, you're exercising courage. These small acts of bravery accumulate, building the foundation of self-discipline. For example, imagine someone who's afraid of public speaking but decides to volunteer for a presentation at work. The fear doesn't disappear, but by choosing to act despite it, they not only grow their confidence but also strengthen their ability to stay disciplined in the face of discomfort. This is the essence of Seneca's quote, "True freedom comes from the courage to master your fears and take control of your actions." Another way to think about this is through the lens of personal growth. Often, the things we fear the most, failure, rejection, or even success, are the very things that hold us back from reaching our potential. But when we embrace courage, we unlock the ability to move forward even when the path is uncertain. This is where self-discipline shines. It's the bridge between fear and action, helping us stay focused on our goals even when the journey feels daunting. Consider the story of someone training for a marathon. The first few runs might feel exhausting, and the thought of running 26 miles might seem impossible. But by showing up every day, pushing through the discomfort, and staying committed to the goal, they not only build physical endurance but also cultivate mental resilience. This is courage in action, facing the challenge head-on and staying disciplined in the pursuit of growth. As we reflect on Seneca's words, it's clear that courage and self-discipline are two sides of the same coin. One fuels the other, creating a cycle of empowerment and freedom. By embracing bravery in our daily lives, we not only overcome fear, but also unlock the potential to live with purpose and intention. And as we'll see next, this courage becomes even more powerful when we align it with the Stoic principle of turning obstacles into opportunities. Now that we've explored the connection between courage and self-discipline, let's dive into how we can actively build courage in our daily lives. One of the most effective ways to cultivate bravery is by starting small. Instead of waiting for a monumental challenge to test your courage, focus on the little fears that pop up every day. For instance, if you're nervous about speaking up in meetings, make it a goal to share one idea or ask one question during your next team discussion. These small, consistent acts of bravery train your mind to handle discomfort and build the confidence needed for bigger challenges. Another practical step is to set incremental challenges for yourself. Think of it like climbing a staircase. You don't jump to the top in one leap. You take it one step at a time. If you're working toward a long-term goal, break it down into smaller, manageable tasks. For example, if you're aiming to run a marathon, start by committing to a short run 3 times a week. As you build stamina and confidence, gradually increase your distance. This approach not only makes the goal less overwhelming, but also reinforces your ability to stay disciplined and courageous over time. It's also helpful to create a habit of reflecting on your progress. At the end of each day, take a moment to acknowledge the small acts of courage you've demonstrated. Did you try something new? Did you push through a task you were dreading? Celebrating these victories, no matter how minor they seem, reinforces the idea that courage is a skill you can develop through practice. Lastly, surround yourself with supportive people who encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a community group, having a network of people who believe in your potential can make a world of difference. They can provide the motivation and accountability you need to keep moving forward, even when fear tries to hold you back. By incorporating these actionable steps into your routine, you'll find that courage becomes less about grand gestures and more about the everyday choices that shape your character. And as you grow in bravery, you'll notice how it strengthens your self-discipline, creating a powerful cycle of growth and empowerment. Next, we'll explore how this courage can transform obstacles into opportunities, a key principle in Stoic philosophy. Shifting our focus to the power of mindset, let's explore Marcus Aurelius' profound insight. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. This quote reminds us that our thoughts shape our reality, influencing not only our emotions but also our actions and discipline. Think of your mind as a garden. What you plant and nurture will determine what grows. If you cultivate negativity, doubt, or fear, those will take root and influence your behavior. But if you sow seeds of positivity, focus, and determination, you'll see those qualities flourish in your daily life. One effective technique for cultivating disciplined thinking is through affirmations. These are short, positive statements that you repeat to yourself, such as, "I am capable of achieving my goals," or "I choose to focus on what I can control." By consistently reinforcing these messages, you rewire your brain to adopt a more disciplined and optimistic mindset. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Another powerful tool is visualization. Take a few moments each day to imagine yourself succeeding in your goals. Picture the steps you'll take, the challenges you'll overcome, and the satisfaction of achieving what you set out to do. This mental rehearsal not only boosts your confidence but also aligns your thoughts with disciplined action. Cognitive reframing is also key. This involves shifting your perspective on challenges or setbacks. Instead of seeing a difficult task as overwhelming, reframe it as an opportunity to grow. For example, if you're struggling with a project, remind yourself that overcoming this hurdle will make you more resilient and skilled. This shift in thinking helps you approach obstacles with discipline and determination rather than frustration or avoidance. Finally, practice mindfulness to stay present and aware of your thoughts. When you notice negative or distracting thoughts creeping in, acknowledge them without judgment and gently redirect your focus to what truly matters. This habit of mental clarity strengthens your ability to stay disciplined, even in the face of distractions or setbacks. By mastering these techniques, you'll find that your thoughts become a powerful ally in your journey towards self-discipline. As Marcus Aurelius suggests, the color of your thoughts will shape your soul, and in turn, your actions. Next, we'll delve into how challenges can strengthen the mind, a principle that ties beautifully into this idea of disciplined thinking. Building on the idea of mindset shifts, let's explore how these strategies can be applied in practical, everyday ways to strengthen self-discipline. Affirmations, visualization, and cognitive reframing aren't just abstract concepts. They're tools you can use to transform your thinking and ultimately your actions. Start with affirmations. These are simple yet powerful statements that help you focus on your strengths and goals. For example, if you're working on staying consistent with a new habit, you might repeat, "I am committed to my progress one step at a time." The key is to make these affirmations specific and personal. Say them out loud or write them down daily, especially during moments of doubt or distraction. Over time, they'll help you internalize a disciplined mindset. Visualization is another game changer. Take a few minutes each day to close your eyes and imagine yourself succeeding in your goals. Picture the process, not just the outcome. See yourself waking up early, staying focused during work, or resisting temptations that might derail your progress. This mental rehearsal primes your brain to act in alignment with your vision, making disciplined choices feel more natural and achievable. Cognitive reframing is particularly useful when facing challenges. Instead of viewing a setback as a failure, reframe it as a learning opportunity. For instance, if you miss a workout, don't dwell on the slip-up. Instead, remind yourself, this is a chance to practice resilience and get back on track tomorrow. By shifting your perspective, you turn obstacles into stepping stones, reinforcing your commitment to self-discipline. To make these mindset shifts stick, consistency is key. Set aside a few minutes each day to practice affirmations, visualization, or reframing. You might incorporate them into your morning routine, during a quiet moment in the evening, or even as a quick mental reset during a busy day. The more you practice, the more these techniques will become second nature, helping you stay disciplined even when life gets tough. As you integrate these strategies into your life, you'll notice a shift in how you approach challenges and opportunities. Your thoughts will become more aligned with your goals, and your actions will follow suit. This is the essence of disciplined thinking, a mindset that empowers you to take control of your life, one thought at a time. Now, let's turn our attention to how challenges can strengthen the mind, a principle that ties beautifully into this idea of disciplined thinking. Moving forward, let's explore how challenges can serve as powerful catalysts for growth, a concept deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." This quote reminds us that just as physical exercise builds muscle, facing challenges strengthens our mental resilience. The Stoics believed that adversity isn't something to avoid, but rather an essential part of personal development. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. Instead of viewing each failure as a defeat, he saw them as steps toward success. He once said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This mindset aligns perfectly with Stoic principles, seeing obstacles not as barriers but as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. Another inspiring example is Malala Yousafzai, who faced immense adversity after being attacked for advocating girls' education. Rather than letting fear or anger consume her, she channeled her experience into a global movement for education rights. Her resilience and determination exemplify how challenges can fuel purpose and strength, transforming hardship into a force for positive change. These stories illustrate the Stoic belief that difficulties are not setbacks but stepping stones. When we embrace challenges, we train our minds to become more adaptable, patient, and resourceful. Each obstacle we overcome builds our confidence and prepares us for future trials. So, how can you apply this Stoic wisdom in your own life? Start by reframing your perspective on challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift in thinking can turn a moment of frustration into an opportunity for growth. As we continue, we'll dive deeper into practical ways to embrace challenges and use them to strengthen your self-discipline. The Stoics didn't just preach resilience, they provided actionable tools to help us thrive in the face of adversity. Let's explore those next. Now that we've seen how challenges can strengthen the mind, let's focus on practical ways to embrace these difficulties and turn them into opportunities for growth. The Stoics didn't just talk about resilience, they gave us tools to actively build it. One of the most powerful tools is reframing. Instead of seeing a challenge as a roadblock, try viewing it as a teacher. Ask yourself, what is this situation trying to show me? Or how can this make me stronger? This shift in perspective can transform frustration into curiosity and fear into determination. Another key strategy is to break challenges into smaller, manageable steps. When faced with a daunting task, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. but by dividing it into smaller actions, you create a clear path forward. For example, if you're working on a big project, focus on completing one small task at a time. Celebrate each small victory, as these incremental wins build momentum and keep you disciplined. Staying disciplined during tough times also requires self-awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts and emotions without letting them control you. When you feel discouraged, pause and remind yourself of your long-term goals. Visualize the person you want to become and the life you're working toward. This mental exercise can reignite your motivation and help you stay focused even when the going gets tough. Finally, lean on the power of routine. The Stoics believed that consistent habits are the foundation of self-discipline. When life feels chaotic, sticking to a simple daily routine can provide stability and clarity. Whether it's morning meditation, journaling, or a regular exercise schedule, these small acts of discipline create a sense of control and purpose, even in the face of adversity. By embracing challenges and using them as opportunities to grow, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. The Stoics taught us that every difficulty is a chance to practice resilience, patience, and self-mastery. And as we move forward, we'll explore how these principles can help you build even greater strength and discipline in your life. Now, let's turn our attention to a powerful quote from Marcus Aurelius that speaks to the heart of emotional mastery and self-discipline. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. At first glance, this might seem like a statement about revenge, but dig deeper, and you'll find it's really about rising above negativity and maintaining your integrity. The Stoics believed that the way we respond to harm or injustice says more about us than it does about the person who caused it. Instead of reacting with anger or seeking to hurt others in return, self-discipline allows us to respond with calmness, clarity, and dignity. This idea is especially relevant in today's world, where it's easy to get caught up in cycles of negativity. Whether it's a rude comment, a betrayal, or a personal setback, our instinct might be to lash out or seek retribution. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the true victory lies in refusing to let someone else's actions dictate our behavior. By exercising emotional control, we not only protect our peace of mind but also demonstrate strength of character. So, how can we put this into practice? Start by recognizing that you can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond. When faced with an injury or insult, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be in this situation? This simple question can help you shift from a reactive mindset to a proactive one. Instead of mirroring negativity, choose to act with kindness, patience, or even indifference. Another key aspect of this quote is the importance of integrity. When we respond to harm with grace, we stay true to our values and principles. This doesn't mean ignoring the hurt or pretending it doesn't matter. It means refusing to let it change who you are at your core. By doing so, you not only rise above the situation but also set an example for others to follow. In the end, Marcus Aurelius teaches us that self-discipline is about more than just resisting temptation or sticking to a routine. It's about mastering your emotions and staying true to yourself, even in the face of adversity. And as we'll see next, this kind of emotional mastery is a cornerstone of living a life of purpose and harmony. Building on Marcus Aurelius' wisdom, let's explore practical techniques for mastering emotions like anger and resentment, which can often derail self-discipline. One effective method is the practice of mindfulness. When you feel anger rising, take a moment to pause and observe your emotions without judgment. Ask yourself, what am I feeling and why? This simple act of self-awareness can create a mental space between the emotion and your reaction, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Another powerful tool is reframing. When someone's actions upset you, try to see the situation from their perspective. Ask yourself, what might they be going through that led to this behavior? This doesn't excuse harmful actions, but it can help you detach emotionally and respond with compassion or indifference instead of anger. Journaling is also a valuable practice for emotional mastery. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you process them more clearly. It allows you to identify patterns in your emotional responses and develop strategies to manage them better over time. For example, if you notice that certain triggers consistently lead to resentment, you can work on addressing those triggers proactively. Physical practices like deep breathing or exercise can also play a role in emotional regulation. When you feel overwhelmed, taking a few deep breaths or going for a walk can help calm your mind and body. Exercise, in particular, releases endorphins that improve mood and reduce stress, making it easier to maintain emotional balance. Finally, remember the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control. You can't control how others act, but you can control how you respond. By directing your energy toward your own actions and mindset, you reclaim your power and strengthen your self-discipline. As we move forward, we'll see how these principles of emotional mastery tie into the broader Stoic goal of living a life of purpose and harmony. Next, we'll explore how taking action, rather than just debating ideals, is the true mark of self-discipline. Now, let's turn our attention to a quote that cuts straight to the heart of self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius' powerful reminder: waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This statement challenges us to move beyond theory and into action. It's easy to get caught up in endless debates about what it means to live a virtuous life, but Stoicism teaches us that true discipline lies in embodying those virtues, not just discussing them. Think about it. How often do we spend time analyzing what we should do, only to delay actually doing it? Marcus Aurelius urges us to stop overthinking and start acting. For example, instead of debating whether you should wake up early to exercise, just set the alarm and do it. Instead of endlessly planning how to be more patient, practice patience in the next frustrating moment that comes your way. This quote also highlights the importance of integrity. It's not enough to talk about being honest, kind, or disciplined. You have to live those values every day. Consider someone like Mahatma Gandhi, who didn't just preach nonviolence, he lived it even in the face of immense challenges. His actions spoke louder than any words ever could. So, how can you apply this in your own life? Start by identifying one principle you value deeply, whether it's honesty, resilience, or compassion, and commit to living it out in small, consistent ways. If you value honesty, for instance, practice telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable. If you value resilience, push through a difficult task without giving up. These small acts of discipline compound over time, shaping you into the person you aspire to be. Marcus Aurelius' words remind us that self-discipline isn't about perfection or endless deliberation. It's about taking action even when it's hard. By focusing on what you can do today rather than what you could do someday, you build the kind of character that stands the test of time. As we continue, we'll explore how this commitment to action ties into the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with oneself and the world around us. Next, we'll dive into how self-discipline leads to inner peace and alignment with the universe. Now, let's take this idea of action a step further and explore how we can practically align our daily actions with our deepest values. Marcus Aurelius' call to be one, rather than just debate what a good person should be, is a powerful starting point. But how do we actually put this into practice? One of the most effective ways to align your actions with your values is by setting clear, specific goals. Instead of vague aspirations like "be more disciplined," break it down into tangible steps. For example, if your value is health, set a goal to exercise for 30 minutes 3 times a week. If your value is learning, commit to reading 1 book a month. These small, measurable goals make it easier to take consistent action and track your progress. Another key step is holding yourself accountable. This doesn't mean being overly harsh or critical. It means creating systems that keep you on track. One practical method is to use a journal or a habit tracker. At the end of each day, reflect on whether your actions aligned with your values. Did you stay true to your goals? If not, what can you do differently tomorrow? This kind of self-reflection builds awareness and helps you course correct before small missteps turn into bigger habits. You can also enlist the help of an accountability partner, someone who shares your values and can encourage you to stay on track. Whether it's a friend, family member, or mentor, having someone to check in with can make a world of difference. Share your goals with them and ask them to hold you to your commitments. Finally, remember that taking action doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Stoicism teaches us that progress, not perfection, is the goal. If you miss a workout or fall short of a goal, don't dwell on it. Instead, focus on what you can do right now to get back on track. Every small step you take reinforces your values and builds the kind of discipline that lasts a lifetime. As we move forward, we'll see how this commitment to action and alignment with values leads to a deeper sense of harmony within ourselves and with the world around us. Next, we'll explore how self-discipline helps us live in accordance with nature and find true inner peace. Now, let's shift our focus to a profound idea from Marcus Aurelius that ties self-discipline to a deeper sense of harmony. He said, "He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." This quote invites us to consider how self-discipline isn't just about controlling our actions. It's about aligning our inner world with the natural order of things. At its core, living in harmony with yourself means understanding your values, desires, and emotions, and ensuring they don't conflict with one another. When you practice self-discipline, you're not just resisting temptations or sticking to a routine. You're creating an internal balance that reflects the harmony found in nature. Think of it like a tree that grows steadily, following its natural rhythm, rather than being swayed by every passing storm. The Stoics believed that living in accordance with nature was the key to a fulfilling life. For them, nature wasn't just the physical world, it was the rational order that governs everything. When we align our actions with this order, we tap into a sense of peace and purpose that goes beyond fleeting pleasures or external achievements. So, how does self-discipline help us achieve this harmony? It starts with self-awareness. By being mindful of our thoughts and actions, we can identify what truly matters to us and let go of distractions that pull us away from our natural state. For example, if you value simplicity, self-discipline might mean decluttering your life both physically and mentally, so you can focus on what brings you genuine fulfillment. Another way self-discipline fosters harmony is by helping us accept what we cannot control. The Stoics taught that much of life is beyond our influence, but our reactions to it are entirely within our power. When we practice self-discipline, we learn to respond to challenges with calmness and clarity, rather than frustration or despair. This acceptance aligns us with the natural flow of life, reducing inner conflict and creating a sense of peace. Ultimately, living in harmony with yourself and the universe is about finding balance between effort and ease, between ambition and contentment, and between the individual and the greater whole. As we continue, we'll explore practical ways to cultivate this balance and bring the wisdom of Stoicism into our daily lives. Next, we'll dive into how obstacles can become opportunities for growth, showing us the way forward even in the face of adversity. Now, let's explore how we can actively cultivate harmony in our lives through practical Stoic practices. One of the most effective ways to align with your inner self and the universe is through meditation. Taking just a few minutes each day to sit in stillness allows you to observe your thoughts without judgment, creating space for clarity and self-awareness. This practice helps you identify what truly matters, making it easier to let go of distractions and focus on what aligns with your values. Another powerful tool is self-reflection. At the end of each day, take a moment to review your actions and decisions. Ask yourself, did I act in accordance with my principles? Did I respond to challenges with calmness and reason? This daily check-in not only reinforces self-discipline, but also helps you stay connected to your long-term goals, ensuring your daily habits are in harmony with the life you want to build. Speaking of habits, aligning your daily routines with your broader aspirations is key to maintaining harmony. For example, if your goal is to live a healthier life, self-discipline might mean choosing nutritious meals over quick, unhealthy options. If you value personal growth, it could involve dedicating time each day to learning or practicing a new skill. Small, consistent actions like these create a rhythm that mirrors the natural order the Stoics admired, helping you stay grounded and purposeful. Finally, remember that harmony isn't about perfection, it's about balance. Some days you'll feel more in tune with yourself and the world around you, while other days might feel chaotic. That's okay. The Stoics understood that life is a series of ebbs and flows, and true harmony comes from embracing both. By practicing meditation, self-reflection, and intentional habits, you'll build the resilience needed to navigate life's challenges while staying true to your values. As we move forward, we'll see how even the obstacles we face can become stepping stones to growth, showing us the way forward when the path seems unclear. Now, let's turn our attention to a powerful Stoic idea that can transform the way we approach challenges. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. At first glance, this might seem counterintuitive. How can obstacles actually help us move forward? But this quote captures the essence of Stoic philosophy. Every challenge we face is not just a barrier but an opportunity to grow stronger and more disciplined. Think about it this way: when we encounter a problem, our natural instinct might be to avoid it or feel frustrated. But the Stoics teach us to shift our perspective. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, we can view them as tools for growth. For example, imagine you're working on a project and suddenly you hit a major setback. Maybe a key team member leaves or resources become scarce. Instead of letting this derail you, you can use it as a chance to develop resilience, creativity, and problem-solving skills. The obstacle itself becomes the training ground for building the discipline needed to succeed. History is full of examples of people who turned their struggles into stepping stones. Take Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure wasn't a dead end, it was a lesson that brought him closer to his goal. Or consider athletes who face injuries. Many use their recovery time to study their craft, refine their techniques, and come back even stronger. These stories remind us that obstacles aren't just things to overcome, they're opportunities to become better versions of ourselves. So, how can we apply this Stoic principle in our own lives? Start by reframing your challenges. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this situation help me grow? Maybe a difficult coworker teaches you patience and communication skills. Perhaps a financial setback pushes you to budget more wisely and prioritize what truly matters. By embracing obstacles as part of the journey, you'll find that they don't just test your discipline, they build it. As we continue, we'll explore how this mindset can help us stay focused and motivated, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. Because in the end, it's not the absence of obstacles that defines our success, it's how we choose to face them. Now, let's dive deeper into practical strategies for overcoming obstacles and turning them into fuel for self-discipline. One of the most effective ways to reframe setbacks is to adopt what psychologists call a growth mindset. This means viewing challenges not as failures but as opportunities to learn and improve. For instance, if you miss a deadline at work, instead of beating yourself up, ask yourself, what can I do differently next time? How can I better manage my time or prioritize tasks? By focusing on solutions rather than problems, you transform setbacks into stepping stones for growth. Another powerful strategy is to break down obstacles into smaller, manageable steps. When faced with a daunting challenge, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But by dividing the problem into smaller tasks, you create a clear path forward. Let's say you're training for a marathon and an injury sets you back. Instead of giving up, focus on what you can do, like physical therapy or strength training, to rebuild your fitness. Each small step you take builds momentum and reinforces your discipline, keeping you on track toward your goal. It's also important to cultivate a sense of gratitude even in the face of adversity. The Stoics believed that every obstacle carries a hidden gift. Maybe a job rejection leads you to discover a new career path that aligns better with your passions. Or a personal conflict teaches you valuable lessons about communication and empathy. By practicing gratitude, you shift your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right, which helps you stay motivated and disciplined. Finally, surround yourself with supportive people who encourage your growth. When you're facing a tough challenge, having a mentor, friend, or community to lean on can make all the difference. They can offer fresh perspectives, hold you accountable, and remind you of your strengths when self-doubt creeps in. Remember, discipline isn't just about individual effort, it's also about the relationships and resources that help you stay resilient. As we move forward, we'll explore how these strategies can help you stay focused and disciplined, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. Because in the end, it's not the obstacles themselves that define us, it's how we choose to rise above them. Now, let's shift our focus to a powerful insight from Seneca that challenges how we perceive difficulty and fear. He once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult." At its core, this quote reminds us that fear and hesitation often magnify the challenges we face, making them seem insurmountable. But in reality, it's our reluctance to take action that creates the illusion of difficulty. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles to self-discipline. When we hesitate, we give fear the power to paralyze us, preventing us from making progress toward our goals. For example, imagine wanting to start a new business but being held back by the fear of failure. The longer you wait, the more daunting the idea becomes. But what if, instead of focusing on the fear, you took one small step, like researching your market or drafting a business plan? Each action you take chips away at the fear, building confidence and momentum. So, how can we overcome this hesitation and build the confidence needed to take bold action? One effective strategy is to start small. Break down your goals into manageable tasks that feel less intimidating. If public speaking terrifies you, begin by practicing in front of a mirror or a trusted friend. Gradually increase the challenge as your confidence grows. This approach not only reduces fear but also reinforces your discipline by creating a habit of consistent action. Another key to overcoming fear is to reframe failure as a learning opportunity. The Stoics believed that setbacks are not something to avoid but rather something to embrace as part of growth. When you view failure as a teacher rather than a threat, it becomes easier to take risks. For instance, if you're afraid of rejection in your career, remind yourself that every no brings you closer to a yes. This mindset shift can help you push past hesitation and take the bold steps needed to achieve your goals. Finally, surround yourself with encouragement and accountability. Share your goals with someone who believes in you and can offer support when fear creeps in. Having a mentor or a supportive community can provide the reassurance you need to keep moving forward, even when the path feels uncertain. As we continue, we'll explore how these principles can help you build the courage and discipline needed to face life's challenges head-on. Because, as Seneca reminds us, the real difficulty lies not in the task itself but in our willingness to dare. Now, let's dive deeper into practical ways to build confidence and overcome fear, as Seneca's wisdom encourages us to do. One powerful tool is visualization. Picture yourself succeeding in the task you're hesitant about. Whether it's delivering a presentation, starting a new project, or facing a personal challenge, take a moment to imagine the process going smoothly and the outcome being positive. Visualization helps your mind rehearse success, making the actual experience feel more familiar and less intimidating. Another effective strategy is positive self-talk. The way you speak to yourself matters. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, remind yourself of your strengths and past successes. For example, if you're nervous about a job interview, tell yourself, "I've prepared well and I have the skills they're looking for." This shift in mindset can boost your confidence and reduce the power of fear. Incremental goal setting is also key to building confidence. Break your larger goals into smaller, achievable steps. If running a marathon feels overwhelming, start by running a mile. Once that feels comfortable, increase the distance gradually. Each small victory builds your confidence and reinforces your discipline, making the next step feel more attainable. Finally, consider keeping a progress journal. Write down your achievements, no matter how small, and reflect on how far you've come. This practice not only boosts your confidence but also helps you stay motivated and focused on your long-term goals. By incorporating these exercises into your daily life, you'll find that fear becomes less of a barrier and more of a stepping stone. As we move forward, we'll explore how these principles can help you turn obstacles into opportunities, just as the Stoics taught. Because when you dare to act, even the most daunting challenges become manageable. As we wrap up our journey through these 25 powerful Stoic quotes on self-discipline, let's take a moment to reflect on the timeless wisdom they offer. From Marcus Aurelius reminding us of the power of our minds to Seneca's insights on courage and contentment, each quote serves as a guide to mastering self-discipline in our daily lives. These teachings aren't just philosophical ideas, they're practical tools to help us navigate challenges, overcome fear, and stay focused on what truly matters. The Stoics believed that self-discipline is the foundation of a meaningful life, and their words continue to inspire us to take control of our thoughts, actions, and emotions. Whether it's through journaling, embracing discomfort, or turning obstacles into opportunities, these principles can transform how we approach our goals and challenges. Now, it's your turn to put these lessons into practice. Start small. Choose one quote that resonates with you and apply its wisdom to your life. Maybe it's reframing a difficult situation as an opportunity for growth, or perhaps it's practicing gratitude to cultivate contentment. Whatever you choose, remember that self-discipline is a skill that grows stronger with consistent effort. We'd love to hear how these Stoic principles have impacted you. Share your experiences, challenges, or breakthroughs in the comments below. Your journey might inspire someone else to take their first step towards self-mastery. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom and practical advice. Together, let's continue exploring how ancient philosophy can help us live more disciplined, fulfilling lives. Thank you for watching, and remember, every small step you take today brings you closer to the person you aspire to be.